This is a story I wrote called Special Agent Moses. "How far is it to parachute?" asked Moses with a voice as monotonous as a never-ending roll of toilet paper. "It's about another 10 miles. Man, did you get throat cancer or something?" "No, I have always talked this way." Moses was used to being asked questions involving throat cancer, or perhaps a war wound suffered in Vietnam or Baghdad. He never told people why he sounded like a computer, and thankfully no one had ever guessed that he was an android. When the geniuses at the IRS, with some help from the priesthood of Anubis, custom-built Special Agent Moses, every piece of his body was custom-engineered and built on the premises, from his fully articulated fiber-optic opposable thumbs to his hyper-fast computer brain with artificial intelligence programming. The only bit of him that was off the shelf was his voice box, which a particularly ruthless IRS official stole from a throat cancer victim while he went to the bathroom at a McDonald's near the research facility. Such things are wont to happen when funding runs out. Special Agent Moses was doing a job normally relegated to social workers in the Department of Health and Human Services rather than the Internal Revenue Service. He was investigating the culmination of welfare run amok. Mr. and Mrs. Dwight McGammon of Parachute, Mississippi, had discovered that through various government programs they could procure funding to get college degrees. After receiving their checks and enrolling in Mississippi State University, they both majored in business and surprisingly managed to be fair but passing students. In their 4th year of studies, Mr. and Mrs. McGammon realized that upon their graduation the money flow would cease. They would stop receiving stipends that not only paid for their tuition, books, and gas money to and from the Starkville campus, but also allowed them to buy a mind-boggling array of breakfast cereals, potted meats, and lawn care products. Thus the McGammons intentionally failed all the classes requisite for their timely graduation, and in the fall of the following year they re-enrolled, studying veterinary medicine. After studying business, veterinary medicine, journalism, and education, they were in their senior year of accounting school when their world of fraud was shattered. They graduated with honors and were forced to set themselves up as accountants. Though they feared a future where they would have to use their government-funded education to sink or swim, they found more ways to get the taxpayers of the United States to pay for their cereal and beetle dust. They got a government grant and established a small business. Knowing that if the business was a success, they would once again forfeit their hard-earned fraudulent gains, they set up McGammon's Tax Service and a little strip of storefronts between the pool hall and the second-hand dress shop. In order to ensure their failure, they made a hand-painted sigil of damnation. Surely no sane individual would go to a CPA that not only lacked proper licensing, but also had a hand-painted sign on a piece of plywood in front of their office, complete with intentional misspellings and backward letters. After several months, Mr. and Mrs. McGammon had done 3 people's taxes. One was Dwight's brother, another was a blind man, and the third believed aliens had abducted the mayor and replaced him with a body double, whose intention it was to do experimental brain surgery on innocent passers-by. On 2 of the tax returns Dwight filled out, while his wife munched on cereal and supervised, there were taxes to be paid on $23,000 of income and $34,000 of income, but after going through the complex algorithms and templates of financial ruin, the form showed no dice. Neither one owed a penny. The blind man went to the nearest town. After sensing something was amiss with his taxes, he went to an H&R Block and got his taxes done by a real professional. It turned out he owed considerably more than $0.00. Eventually the IRS got wind of the strange occurrence and sent their operative, Special Agent Moses, to investigate. The potentates with their corner offices and designer ties were not terribly concerned about firing off audits and revoking licenses. What they feared was that this incompetent accountant had found a magic loophole in the tax code.